Hi there, I am going to talk about brushes. And so you need tools. The first thing that I'm gonna do, I already have my face prepped, is I'm gonna show you how to use a foundation brush. So I like the liquid foundation brush. We also have a buffer. This one is a blending foundation brush, which you could use as well with liquid foundation. You could put the foundation on the brush or you could put it on your hand, which I prefer doing. So I start right here and I work my way down and blend down. Now, if you want to use the buffer, you could totally do that. But this one here is going to get, because it's angled, it's going to be able to get into some of the areas that maybe you wouldn't normally be able to with a flat or fluffy brush. But this one, a lot of people really like this because it buffs out the foundation so that they kind of feel as if there's no streaks. You know what I mean? Like sometimes the bristles from a brush can give you streaks. All over eyeshadow brush. And I'm gonna do my highlight. Only gonna cover the tip. It gives you more control. The other thing is that hold it like a pencil so that again, you have more control. Sometimes we're real like flimsy with it. I like to hold it as close to the tip as possible. And I like to press a highlighter in underneath my brow before blending so that it can grab to my primer. Then I will blend. If you do too much blending, you're wiping away the shadow a lot of times and it's not going to grab as nice. And then of course I always put a little highlighter here. So what you're gonna do now is take your mid-tone, and this allows you to get it in your crease a little. So I want to put it on the hooded part of my eye without completely covering the highlighter. The highlighter one can also be a blending brush. So you can kind of soften the edges. Okay, so I put my eyeliner on. Now I take this the eye smudger, and I love smudging my eyeliner. Now, if you use a liquid, obviously you're not gonna do that. Not so much all the way in. I kind of try to keep that a little bit smooth, but this buffer, smoking that liner up so that when you put your accent color on, see when you use a tight brush like this, because it's so tight, it's gonna go on darker. So if you want a soft look, you use flimsy brushes. If you want an intense look, you use something that a little bit tighter. Put it on the tip, and now I'm gonna add it right here. And you could do a softer accent again with a more flimsy brush, or lighten your grip. Loosen up your grip a little bit. The tighter, again, the closer you go to the bristles on the end, the more intensified the application is gonna be. See how much you can control by using the right type of brush for the right product. I don't want it that intense all the way across my eye. I only want it that intense right out here. So I'm gonna take my blending brush, and now I'm gonna take the intensity and blend it up so that it's blending softer than this area here. So that I am getting that darkness up high enough, because I want it on the hooded part of my eye. I want it to recess back this hooded part, but I don't want it to be so dark. It looks too dramatic, especially daytime, right?
Some people do their brows first, which is totally fine. You can do your brows first, but I am not. I'm gonna do it now.
Okay, so I filled in with a pencil. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, I love this spindle brush, and I'm gonna brush through this. Okay, so for concealer, I'm using our cream color brush. It can be used with our cream eyeshadow, or it can be used with our concealer and under eye corrector. I put a little bit of concealer here as a highlighter, and then now I'm mixing the under eye corrector and concealer. I just pat it in for that triangle of light. And what I love about this brush is it's got like a kind of a chiseled tip to it, so it's so much more precise. Now it may look like I'm putting a lot on, but it's all about blending. So I'm patting, I'm not rubbing. The thing that we do wrong with concealer is we rub too much and we rub it in. We don't want to rub it in, we want to pat it on. Then you go back to your foundation brush or your buffer and you blend the edges so it blends into your foundation like that. Want to take a little bit of powder, do a little bit of this baking if you'd like. Okay, amazing, right? And buff that out. Oh my gosh, I love these brushes. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is use the angled brush that's on the other side of the spindle. And this is where I'm gonna put a little shadow. I like to put eyeliner underneath softly and not a pencil. Look how tight that is because of that great angle. The next thing we're gonna do is our blush brush. I love this blush brush because you can contour, highlight, and do blush with this brush. Okay, so let's take your contour, focus on the underneath and right on top of my cheekbone. So I want it to be on this lower, see how it's angled? I want it on this part of the brush so that it lands in the right space. You know what I'm saying? If I put it on the top, it'd be up here. That's not where I want it. Brushes give you so much more control when you have the right brush. And I love the angle and puffy fluffiness of this blush brush. So there's your contour. Do the blush on the tip of the brush. So you put it on the tip, and that's where you go at the apple. Look at that, on the apple, and just on top of the cheek. Now you can also do the highlighter. And so I always just flip it and put it right at the tip. So I just get a little bit of that shimmer glow on the top bone. Loose powder brush. Set everything. Okay, so there's your complete look with our complete collection of brushes. Then there are the extras that you can get. How great to have a simple, easy, compact brush collection to make your makeup application smooth, easy, and flawless.